is tough times in Michigan, but I mean, the people have always persevered there, and they're great people.
You know, certainly the way the city's struggling right now with what's going on, but, you know, every time we get to the rink and every time you look around and, you know, if there's 20,000 there, it's a great night. If there's 16,000, they're still behind us, it doesn't matter.
This has always been hockey town. Hockey's always been a big part of the state of Michigan.
Michigan's in a recession. It's a lot harder right now, and people can just use different sports teams, especially the hockey team, the success, it sort of lets them get away from it.
It takes everyone's mind off the problems everyone's dealing with every day. We can get together and have a couple beers and root for the Wings. It's great.
The city of Detroit had high hopes again for the Red Wings going into the 2007-2008 season.
Well, we really felt we had a great team last year and even the year before, and it's basically been a 3-year process. We've had great regular seasons, flamed out against Edmonton in the first round right after the lockout, and then last year got to the Final Four.
The Ducks will meet Ottawa in the Stanley Cup Final.
2007 ended with the Wings beaten and battered in the conference final by Anaheim, the eventual Stanley Cup champions.
My theory and my belief is you just keep knocking on the door and you do it year after year, and once in a while the door opens.
The biggest thing I learned from the playoffs last year was it was a grind. It's hard to describe to people how hard it is, and we didn't even make it to the Stanley Cup Finals.
It's really disappointing. I don't think anyone would feel it again, and we made up our minds this year that it's going to be hard to stop us.
As the new season began, the Red Wings lived up to that promise.
Detroit clicking on all cylinders. All-time Red Wing best start.
We kind of felt we had something to prove. Started out of the West Coast and we started in Western Canada. And those are tough trips to go out there. And we went out there and beat some good hockey teams and won some big games for our team early.
Here's Draper, short-handed, in the clear. Draper in, shoots, scores!
The first 16 games of the season, the Red Wings only lost twice in regulation. By New Year's Eve, they'd only lost 8 times.
Detroit's sizzling start was due in part to the sparkling play of veterans Chris Osgood and Dominik Hasek.
We had 2 really good goalies, and it doesn't really matter who's out there.
Dom was great for us all year. Ozzy made the All-Star team. He's the starter in the All-Star game. A lot of guys forget about that.
I mean, he's 43, I'm 35. I mean, we don't like to get worn out and tired, so we end up playing kind of about the same amount.
I got it, Dom.
With nearly identical numbers, Osgood and Hasek split time in net and emerged as the league's top tandem. But no matter who was in goal, the Detroit defense was bolstered in the offseason when a native son returned to suit up for his hometown team.
We really pursued Brian Rafalski, and I think he wanted to come home to Detroit. Again, he's a much better player. You know, you never know how good of a player is until they're on your team, and he was a perfect fit. No maintenance, comes to the rink every day. Perfect player for our team.
With his hometown just outside the city, Rafalski was back where he played as a youngster.
Now we're gonna head down to Wyandotte, south of Detroit, right along the Detroit River. That's where I grew up. That's where I first started skating and playing hockey. Yeah, there's the arena. Yak Arena. This is Yak Arena, downtown Wyandotte. That's where I started skating, pushing the fold-out chair, going to open hockey, skating backwards, when the supervisor's telling you not to do that, and you know, put you in the penalty box for a little while you thought about what you did. Tried speed skating out here once too. They had like a one-time tryout deal, you know, they just try to get people into the program. Fell, poked myself right in the hand. It was great, you know, go back to the old arena and see where it all began, and who knows where it'll end up.
While Rafalski returned to his roots, homegrown draft picks Henrik Zetterberg and Pavel Datsyuk established themselves as budding superstars.
Whenever you talk about Zetterberg and Datsyuk, it always seems you start talking about one and then the other comes right in.
Well, we call them the Euro Twins.
Datsuk all alone, and Buck scores! Zetterberg, what a pretty play! They score! What a play! Pavel Datsuk! Pavel Datsuk with a beautiful goal. Oh, was that magic?
They play very similar in the way they can hang on to the puck and make plays, and they have that feeling of finding each other on the ice all the time, too.
Pass in the slot to Zetterberg, he scores!
I practice with them every day. You play with them every day, but you still go, you know, how the hell did he do that? How did they do that?
Look at this guy. I couldn't dream of doing some of the stuff they do, and you know, if I tried, it'd end up not looking too pretty.
They can do things with the puck that people have never seen before.
Oh my goodness, that is going to make the highlights around the world.
They log a lot of minutes, they play in every situation, and they're good at everything.
Pavel and Hank, in my opinion, are the two best two-way players in the world today.
Oh, what a play by Zetterberg!
A lot of superstars, you know, go score some goals, but they don't play defense and do little things like they do well. And I think they learned that from watching Steve Yzerman play.
Stevie probably was one of the best two-way players. You know, he had really good offense, but he still took really a lot of pride in the defense. And I got over here, got an opportunity to play with great players. You know, the offense kicked off a little bit more than I expected, but I still wanted to play good defense.
Unlike Yzerman, who was selected 4th overall by Detroit in the 1983 draft, this dynamic duo was discovered late, like a pair of diamonds in the rough.
That's always a big talk in Detroit, and how Pavel and Henrik were late-round draft picks, and then some of us were signed as free agents. And I think when you have a franchise that does so well, they don't get very high draft picks, so they have to go other places for their talent.
Obviously, our scouting staff deserves all the credit for our late-round gems.
A lot of times when we're going to tournaments, we're not looking at the Ovechkins and Malkins. We're focused on the next tier of players.
It's a gut feeling, I believe. They're so good at what they do, is they can look at a guy who's 18 years old and project how he's going to fit in with this Red Wing team.
We like to play what we call European puck possession hockey, and we scout for those types of players. We sign and draft for those kind of players. So when they do come in, they're playing with other players that are a lot like them.
With a salary cap, you can't go out and sign big free agents and have to stick within the system, and we're still able to find players and develop players and find a winning team again.
We're allowed to leave our players in the minors a little bit longer, maybe leave them in Europe a little bit longer.
When we do bring them over, they're put on the 4th line. They don't have to be front stage.
You get to watch Nick Lidstrom practice every day, or Chris Chelios practice every day. And up front with Steve Yzerman here, and Sergei Fedorov, and Brett Hull was here, and Luc Robitaille, the young kids coming along, Datsuk, Zetterberg. You're learning from great players, so I think there's a culture of winning in Detroit, and you play a Red Wing style, and this is the way it's been for the last 15 years.
The reason why they do so well is because they bond together and they play as a team. And I think that's the spirit of our city.
Just as the city of Detroit faced adversity, the injury-ravaged Red Wings were forced to overcome obstacles as well.
Nick Kronwall is hurt. That's never a good sign.
When they got into February, they lost 10 of 11 games.
We got some injuries on defense. We lost our captain for, I think, 10 games.
Nicholas Lidstrom in need of assist. He is in a big deal of trouble there.
I think what February did for the Red Wings, even with all the injuries that they had, it gave them some adversity.
We weren't playing how we wanted to play. So you're going to lose in playoffs too, so I think that's the one thing you learn, to not let it affect you.
Well, I think we all just kind of came together from that experience. When you watch the game from up in the stands or on the TV, I think you learn a lot. Just just from watching.
As an older team, those injuries give you a chance to refresh mentally and give our young guys a chance to play.
We had some young players step in and showed that these guys are going to be able to play down the road.
One guy in particular who really made his presence known is Johan Franzen.
You talk about a coming out party. Johan Franzen has had that.
Samuelson gets back. Cornwall has the club. They score! And a great play to Franzen!
If you've been a checker for a while, you don't score that much, and you don't really worry about scoring.
In the month of March, there wasn't a hotter scorer in Detroit.
We got a lot of injuries there for a while. Holma went out, Clearwell went out, so I needed to fill in there in front of a net on power plays. I started scoring a little bit, and then maybe my mindset changed a little bit.
At the end of the year, he was unreal. He seemed like he was scoring every night.
In fact, he was scoring most every night, potting 14 goals in 13 games. Franzen broke Gordie Howe's franchise record for game-winning goals in a single month with 6.
For Franzen, it was all about playing time. It's all about confidence. It's all about coach's trust and getting a bigger role.
I just started to believe in myself a little bit more and actually thought I could score.
Over time, injuries mended, and the Wings were galvanized by the acquisition of defenseman Brad Stewart at the trade deadline. But there was one more heart and soul addition who energized the Wings on a much different level. It was the return of a lonesome warrior who came home to his hockey roots with a fire rekindled and a passion rediscovered.
I think about where I was a year ago, where I was 6 months ago, and where I am now, and it's just sort of, I gotta pinch myself just to make sure it's real.
I watched him grow from draft day through our farm system and help us doing a lot of winning, help us win 3 championships. Would go to sit and sign autographs, throw pucks in the crowd after warm-up, go to hospitals, go to schools, become a tremendous ambassador for our team. And he got hooked up with wrong people. He lost his way.
You go through the same thing as everybody. We're regular people. When you're down and you're out and everybody's sort of turning their back on you, you really find out who your friends are.
I'll never forget the phone call I got from Mac, right around Thanksgiving. Just asked if, we could, hook up for lunch if I had some time.
We just sat down to reconnect because we sort of lost connection, and that, was my doing, just pushing everybody away and pushed the people closest to me away, and probably had a 2-hour lunch, and maybe the last 15 minutes we talked hockey.
I both had about 12 cups of coffee, and he was just talking about, how he wanted to be a better person, a better father, how he felt there was still some hockey left in him, and that's when he asked if I could help him out.
One thing that I've learned is I gotta, ask for help, and I said to him, I want to try, I'm at the point where I want to try to make a comeback.
Has obviously had a great career, but never really trained properly, never trained hard enough, but he could always get the job done. That's what Darren would always do. So I said, you know what, I'll hook you up. I have a gym, love to take you there. You can meet the personal trainers and set some stuff up. And the one thing I remember is we went there the next day, and one of the trainers said, when do you want to start? And Mac right away is like, I want to start tomorrow.
Just sort of here, I'll open these doors, but you're the one who has to do all the work, and that's the way I wanted it, and that's the way maybe some things have changed.
I got a call in December of this year from his agent saying Darren was looking for an opportunity. And I said to Pat Morris, his agent, Darren did a lot of winning. I've watched him grow up from a young man into a man with a family. If we can do anything in return, I would love to do it, but he's got to show that he's back on the straight and narrow. And he went to Flint. We took him into Grand Rapids.
He paid his dues going back to the IHL, and then riding buses in Grand Rapids and doing, everything he could to make sure that he could become a Detroit Red Wing again.
To know how hard you've worked day in and day out and to be a part of it, there's nothing better. hockey used to always be the end-all, be-all. That's not the case now. Hockey's like third priority behind, my sobriety and my family, and keeping it third makes it so much more enjoyable.
The Red Wings raced to the finish line, closing the season on a 12-3-1 tear and winning their 6th President's Trophy. However, this group was determined to capture a different piece of hardware as the playoffs began.
These teams met 8 times during the regular season. Detroit did win 5 of them, but 5 of the games were decided by 1 goal. It's the Motor City against the Music City.
Let's go. There's a rivalry, obviously, between Nashville and Detroit.
I think playing them 8 times over the year, I mean, they knew exactly what to expect from us, and we did from them.
There's so much pressure for the team that's supposed to win, and there's no pressure on the team that isn't supposed to win.
So they knew against Nashville you couldn't take anything for granted.
They've been in the playoff hunt for a good month, last month and a half of the season. Each of their games is very important. So when they hit the playoffs, they've been in the playoff mode, thinking mentality for a while.
We knew that it was going to be a tough series because they've been playing good against us all year.
This is a fantastic series. Are you ready, Oki? He's ready. I'm ready. Let's go.
Detroit got off to a quick start in Game 1 as Johan Franzen continued to light the lamp.
Here is Cleary, number 11. Gets it to the front. Just missed the stick of Hoodler. Picked up by Cronwall. Far side. Loose in front. Score! Johan Franzen, who finished the regular season hot, gets the first goal of the playoffs for the Red Wings. 1-0 Detroit.
After surrendering the first goal, Dan Ellis held his ground while the Predators hunted for their offense.
I think the goalie was unbelievable. Alice, if you ask me, he stood on his head and gave him a chance.
Here's a shot from the blue line, redirected in front, in behind Hasek, and the Predators tie the game at 1.
Nashville Predators are trying to do something they've not done in their short history, and that is win a playoff game on the road.
A fortunate Detroit bounce prevented Nashville from reversing their fortune on the road.
Poked free, Zetterberg trying to hold it, and he does. Now to Datsuk, left circle, in front to Zetterberg, scores! A rocket shot, Detroit out in front, 2-1.
In Game 2, the Wings looked to their battle-hardened veterans to push them forward.
Moving in Dallas, great goal chance, rebound! McCarty scores! Oh, how happy is number 25? A big goal to start Game 2 by Darren McCarty, 1-0 Detroit.
Dominic Hasek has been outstanding. He's the reason why it's 1-0 right now. It should probably be 1-1 or 2-1 Nashville.
Rafalski gives to Lidstrom for the shot. Scores! And it's 2-0.
Down but not out, Nashville would not quit and kept unloading on the Detroit net.
They played hard and they were able to use their chances to score.
Rattled around right in front. Score!
What a bad jam off the boards.
11 seconds later, the quick-fire Predators struck again.
Off a very strong first period, things have blown up a little bit for Hasek, and here is one going up for real. He scores!
All of a sudden, the game is tied at 2.
It was amazing. These guys score, and it's like, they score again.
They scored 2 goals in 30 seconds or something.
Break with knee. Way to go, Hasek. 5-0.
That was tough for us. But we battled back.
Now moving in, here's Draper with a shot, he scores!
This one's over. Red Wings win it.
The Game 2 win was especially memorable for Chris Chelios, who reached an historic milestone.
Chris Chelios, his 248th Stanley Cup playoff game, an NHL record, no one's close.
Chelios to me is the ultimate warrior. He's a rough, tough individual.
He's deceptively quick.
That's as fast as I'm going. I got to pull my hip flexors again.
He's in such great shape. He is a freak of nature.
I just hope to be walking at 46, let alone skating. I mean, I was even playing junior when he was winning the cup.
The record for oldest player to ever play in the NHL is Gordy's. Chris says he can have it. We'll see if he's true to his word.
We all hoped that we could get one game in Nashville, one of the two.
Taking one on the road looked good when Pavel Datsyuk gave the Wings a 3-2 lead. But with less than 4 minutes left, it was deja vu for the Dominant.
That's just what happens at playoff time. You know, not everything's supposed to go the way you want it to go.
That lady is singing in Nashville for a 5-3 Nashville win.
Mike, what didn't you like in the Hasek that you saw?
Well, puck went in. Puck went in. I mean, just puck's going in the net, and that can't be the case. I mean, you lose a draw, it can't be in your net. So. Game 3, we didn't like the way it finished, but I think you got to give your players an opportunity, and we go back with Dom in Game 4.
The plan backfired, and Babcock gambled with a risky switch.
Hasek gives up 3 goals on 14 shots. Goal change, I believe. Dominic Hasek gives way to Chris Osgood.
You know, I've said this a number of times, when you change your goalie at playoff time, you're usually fishing about 3 days later. That's just the way it is. It just doesn't happen. But that was the time we started to engage right there. Ozzy gave us some confidence.
The resolve of our hockey club really started right there.
That was a huge turning point throughout the whole playoffs for us.
It's a huge thing when you trust the goalie.
Ozzy couldn't save Detroit from a second straight loss, but the job was his to lose, and from then on, he didn't lose much of anything.
It's now a best of 3 heading back to Detroit.
Moving Hockey Town! Hey, Hockey Town! Let's go Red Wings!
There is breaking news. A new goaltender for the Red Wings. Dominic Hasek out, Chris Osgood in.
1A and 1B, they call themselves, and right now Mike Babcock says, well, Ozzy's 1A.
Leading 1-0, Detroit kept their foot on the gas, but Ellis refused to crack under the pressure of their attack.
Dan Ellis was terrific for the Predators.
Here's Cleary, burst of speed, and a save made.
We threw 50-some shots at Ellis.
And we were all over him, but just the way things go, and the puck ended up in our net.
Heverly throws it down low. Erat sends it in front.
And they score! It's in! The Predators have tied the game with 43.4 seconds remaining.
They tie it up late. You know, now you're thinking, you know, you're coming into overtime. You know, we've had some first-round disappointments where, like, we're not letting this happen again.
Links it now, Peverly. Hands it off, Suter. Check from behind there by Filppula. Turnover, lead pass behind the defense. Bronson comes in on Ellis to the backhand. He scores!
Johan Franzen with a game-winning goal. 1:48 into overtime, and the Red Wings lead the series 3 games to 2.
That was a huge sigh of relief for us. We knew we were back on top of the series.
That sort of propelled us, and we were able to win Game 6, but that series was really close. They were a tough opponent.
Up with a fist by the man nicknamed Ozzy.
The guy who has helped eliminate the Nashville Predators.
If you're going to win the 16 games to win the Stanley Cup, you're going to face adversity. And that's what champions do. You know, they face it, they overcome it, and they move on. And that's exactly what we were able to do against Nashville.
After escaping the Predators, the Wings earned a date with a familiar foe and their fiercest rival. Between 1996 and 2002, Colorado and Detroit clashed in several epic playoff series, combining for 5 Stanley Cups between them. Now, just a handful of players remain from those memorable skirmishes. And this latest chapter was marked by one of the rivalry's newest names.
They call him the Mule, and man, he gets the job done.
Cromwell, the shot, deflected, score! Johan Franzen.
Man, he seemed like he was scoring at will against Colorado.
I saw the confidence in him, and every time he touched the puck, something good happened.
You need to believe in yourself.
Back to Franzen and behind the Avalanche net. Brings it out in front. He scores on a hellacious backhand shot from Belmo.
His ability to take the puck hard to the net. He did that a few times in that series where he's got a defender that's chasing him, but he's so big and strong that he can beat that guy to the net.
And he just kept scoring and scoring.
Zetterberg cuts inside with a shot. Budaj the save. Rebound. Second effort. Franzen scores. It's the half trick for Johan Franzen. And this one is a short-handed goal. And hit from the half.
Almost too good to be true.
Johan Franzen continues on his great run, and Detroit has a 2-1 lead.
Franzen was on a tear that I have rarely seen any hockey player do.
That series, everything went in for him, and he was great. That's a simple way of saying it.
The nickname, the Mule, great Steve Yzerman gave him that nickname in his first training camp because of that size. 220, he's the biggest player Detroit has in terms of their forwards. And he scores for the 8th time in the playoffs. And he has 6 goals in this series.
Thanks to Franzen putting pucks in the net and Osgood keeping them out, the Wings put Colorado on the brink. They saved their best for the elimination game.
Filppula to Franzen. He scores. Johan Franzen does it again.
Everything is happening too fast for the Avs right now.
When things are going in and you're playing with that confidence, luck seems to follow you around.
Soup holding the trailer. Zetterberg. Budaj the save, and they score. What a goal. Henrik Zetterberg. Top shelf on his backhand when he was down and out. 5-1 Wings.
Franzen scores. Short-handed goal, and that's goal number 10 in the playoffs for Johan Franzen.
Mule had that's one for the yearbooks. I mean, that's just could be one of the greatest playoff series ever by an individual.
Redirected in front. Franzen gets the hat trick, and the Red Wings take a 7-1 lead. That's the hat trick for Johan Franzen. What a series for the Big Swede.
To do that in 4 games is insane.
The Detroit Red Wings right now look unbeatable. A 4-game sweep. And as they say, they're halfway home. They have advanced to the Western Conference Finals. What about the series Johan Franzen had?
You can't describe it. You could try. Throw all the accolades you want at Johan Franzen, but it still wouldn't do him justice. He was just phenomenal in this series.
The Wings were soaring after a rare one-sided sweep against their archenemies. Franzen's 9 goals in the 4-game series broke another Gordie Howe record.
I'm not comparing myself to any of the great players, so it almost doesn't feel right, but it's really fun that it happened to me.
He's been big now for a long time. He broke, I think, Gordie's record in March, and then he broke his record here today, so good for him. I mean, if you're going to break records, you might as well break Gordie Howe's.
In the Western Conference Final, the Wings ran into the Dallas Stars, another hard-hitting rival. Steamrolling to another 3-game lead and 9 straight playoff wins, Detroit was poised to deliver a knockout punch.
You know, a lot of people think, well, it's easy. You're up 3-0. You go into game 4, you should sweep the series. But that's not always the case.
We weren't good enough. We just didn't compete hard enough and weren't prepared to compete at the level you had to finish a team off.
And the Stars will push this back to Detroit.
Game 4, they played great. We didn't play very good, and you give Dallas all the credit. Then we came back into our building, and then Turco played his best game of the series.
He's so good at playing the puck, where if you give him time, he can act like a third defenseman back there. He can fire it all the way up and almost be part of the breakout when the way he can play the puck.
He scores! Trevor Turco will come out and get it ahead of all others, and his pass to Lundqvist, and he's got a lane. He's into the zone. Lundqvist shot it. He scores.
Somebody forgot to tell the Dallas Stars that they were out of this series.
Isn't it remarkable how a team like the Red Wings can look indestructible a week ago, and then over the course of 4 or 5 days, they look vulnerable?
The one thing you always realize is you're in the playoffs, we're in the Western Conference Finals. Dallas had beaten Anaheim, they've beaten San Jose. They're a good hockey team.
And the Dallas Stars have come back and turned this into a series against the Detroit Red Wings.
I was coming off the elevator with Yuri Hudler, and he was talking to me saying, Ken, he says, are you worried at all? And I said, no, I'm not worried. You got another game to play, right? He goes, well, it seems like everybody in Detroit is worried. He goes, well, look around our locker room. He says, these guys have been through it before. Nicholas Lidstrom, Chris Chelios, Chris Osgood, Maltby, Draper. He says, they've been in every type of situation. There's no worry. We're going to go out and we're going to win this game.
Puck will return to Dallas, revitalize the Stars.
It was just confidence at that point where you just knew, you felt it, we're not going to lose tonight.
The one thing that we were talking about is we got to get to the net, you know, and that's how we're going to score goals.
You look at this Detroit team, I mean, their offensive weaponry is exemplary.
So I saw Dallas, Drake, you know, taking the puck wide. I'm like, I'm getting to the net, I'm staying at the net. All of a sudden, the puck kind of just grazed off Turco, right off my bottom 3 teeth. And it was funny because I saw the puck, and I'm trying to whack at it, and I'm thinking to myself, my teeth aren't where they're supposed to be. This hurts. And then I saw it cross the line, and obviously put my hands up. And then I got cross-checked, so I stand up, and you know, I knew the puck was in, and Dally just kind of looked at me. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, no. Skated to the bench. Sure enough, you know, I had 3 teeth that were banged up pretty good. But at that time of year, who cares? Across the line, it was the goal, and started a big first period for our team.
Lidstrom with a drive, deflected in front, reach, score! Datsu!
If I don't crash and bang, if I don't go to the net, if Drapes doesn't do the same, we're pretty ineffective. Your role guys got to be your role guys. Your scorers got to score. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you usually don't win.
Coming in on Turco, backhand celery pass, deflects it from Lundqvist and score! Well, you talk about secondary scoring.
If you're a Dallas Star here, you got to dig down and try to find it somehow.
Morrow turns it over to the wrong guy. Breakaway. Zetterberg moving in. He fakes, he shoots, he scores, and it's 4-0 Red Wings.
It's like they're playing in an empty rink now.
We had to really amp up our game. Game 6 was our best game of the playoffs to finish them off, and it's a testament to how good they are, and they're a very good team, and we did a very good job of ousting them.
The Detroit Red Wings, for the first time since 2002 when they won it, are headed back to the Stanley Cup Final.
It's game 1 of this best-of-7 series.
Go Red Wings!
Detroit, Michigan is also known as Hockey Town, a nickname that goes back to the 1990s, but a tradition that dates back to 1926. A raucous crowd here at Joe Louis Arena, and there are some Pittsburgh fans here. It's only about a 4.5-hour drive.
You're seeing 2 cities that are in close proximity. Pittsburgh fans don't like Red Wing fans. Red Wing fans don't like Pittsburgh fans. But it's a good, healthy competition out there.
Let's go, Peds! Wings! Wings!
If you love hockey, this is the series you want to watch.
Go down!
If you're a hockey fan, you know that the marquee can't begin to hold the names of all of these stars. Very few best 4 out of 7 series will have this much star power on one playing surface.
When you think of Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Marian Hossa on one side, Pavel Datsyuk, Henrik Zetterberg, Nick Lidstrom on the other, this might be the most anticipated Stanley Cup final since Wayne Gretzky's team back in the 1980s. Marc-Andre Fleury, he has found his game, but he has not faced the likes of what he'll face with this Red Wing team.
Power against power to start in game 1. Crosby against the Zetterberg line.
As the championship round began, the balance of power seemed equal across the board. But an early parade of Detroit penalties cast the Red Wings' last line of defense as its brightest star.
We didn't play the way we wanted, and we ended up in the box, and Aussie really came out big and saved us.
Laid on the back again to Gonchar. Shoots one. Bad stop. This is carried by Malkin. Give it to Crosby. Save one in front. Oh, jam loose by Osgood. And it's right near the line, but is it over? The referee signals no. Osa shot. Trapped and held by Osgood.
I think that first period, I think we felt a little bit nervous. You know, we put ourselves in the penalty box 3 or 4 times. We know they have a good power play, and Aussie was able to make some key saves. And you know, once we got through those penalties, I think that gave our team momentum. Thought we took the game over and playing a lot more confident.
Sidney Crosby in particular and Malkin. As soon as they touch the puck, they're going right to them, they're hitting them, and then that's leading to chances the other way. Jump back for between, shots on to Malkin again. Closed off by Datsyuk.
If you give players like Crosby, Malkin time, they will do something creative, and you have to be on them all the time, otherwise they will do something you don't like.
Excellent defensive hockey by Detroit. I can't remember the last time Osgood made a save.
We're always back checking and we're blocking shots and we're trying our best to keep them out of our zone.
Route 2 holding, able to clear out to center, but it's stopped in center by Samuelson. Back into the Pittsburgh zone, down the middle, breaks left circle, to the goal line, around the net, stop it, he scores! Michael Samuelson scores the first goal of the Stanley Cup final. The Red Wings lead it 1-0.
Sammy's been working hard all season. It was nice to see him get that confidence back and then get the second one.
Gave it away to Datsyuk, who clears to center. Samuelson dumps it into the Pittsburgh zone. Deal ridden on the boards by Samuelson. Fleury one-hands it to Malkin. Lost it. Shot by Samuelson. He scores! A bad giveaway by the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Michael Samuelson has his second goal of the game. It's 2-0 Detroit. Face off just outside the Detroit zone. Stahl lost it to Draper. Back into the Detroit end, taken by Stewart, and he fires at the length of the ice. Racing to his net. A short-handed goal by Dan Clary. And the Red Wings lead it 3-0. Lidstrom at the left point. Holds. Down low to Holmstrom. Into the middle. He scores! Wow, did the Red Wings move the puck? A power play goal for the Red Wings makes it 4-0 with 12.2 seconds left in the game. Second shutout in these playoffs. Could have thought 4-0. Red Wings up 1 game to none. Pittsburgh got taught a little bit of a lesson about playing in a Stanley Cup final tonight. Will they be able to respond and adjust and get ready for game 2?
They played a really good game. They deserve a lot of credit. But in the meantime, we didn't play our game. So I'm expecting a better effort from our team next game.
Pittsburgh did not meet Terrien's expectations, and Detroit's defensive dominance again thwarted the Penguins' march.
Oh, and Crosby with a shoulder check and getting up is Route 2. A lot of action here early in game 2. Good job, good job. For the drive, score! Field target pass. Here on top of the attempted goal. The Red Wings have a 2-0 lead here in game 2.
Critical part of the game.
for Pittsburgh if they want to stay in this at 2-0.
The Red Wings trying to grab a stranglehold on this series. Cross it up the middle for Dubois. Dubois coming in. Gets a shot. He scores! What a play by Dubois, making it 3-0. The Penguins can only hope as they go back to Mellon Arena, where they are a perfect 8-0 and a much different team these playoffs will somehow find a much different game. The Red Wings open the 2007 Cup final with back-to-back shutouts on home ice.
Ozzy doesn't get rattled in goal. We're an extension of his demeanor.
Ozzy's a real calming influence on us. He's really low-key, doesn't get rattled about much. And I think it influences us a lot. In the dressing room before the game, he's just ho-hum. He goes about his business, and I think that reflects on how we play a lot of times.
He's a guy that everybody's been telling him why he can't do things and why he's not this and why he's not that. He doesn't care. He just goes out and plays.
He'll have to go down, I think, as one of the most underrated goaltenders of all time.
I laugh at a lot of stuff that I read, about, the worst goalie ever to win a cup and all this garbage. That's BS. The guy's got Hall of Fame credentials.
What a save by Osgood!
He's been doing an awesome job in net, and it's unbelievable how he's played these playoff games. Pretty easy for everybody knowing that he's going to be stopping the puck for us.
The Pittsburgh Penguins playing host to the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings lead this best-of-7 series 2 games to none.
Game 3, go Pens! Yeah!
Is the change in venue enough to turn this series around?
We know Pittsburgh is very comfortable playing at home. They've had a great role here and certainly a great role in the playoffs, and we're well aware of that.
Right here in this building, the Penguins are 8-0. 16 straight wins here.
So there's certainly a lot of positives that have happened in this building, and they're going to have to come out with their best effort to get back in this series.
After 2 straight shutouts, the Penguins faithful prayed for a savior. Captain Sidney Crosby answered.
To think that we're going to keep everybody on their team score-free for the whole series is not plausible.
They took it to us. Crosby and Hausa, on the power play in particular, took over the game for a bit.
Johan Franzen, with an incredible effort, restored hope for Detroit.
15 seconds to go, power play. Franzen able to step loose. Here's Franzen around in front. Score! What a goal! Johan Franzen on the power play, and it's 2-1.
But Detroit's jubilance was short-lived as Adam Hall banked one in off Chris Osgood. With time ticking down, the ice opened for a blitz of beautifully seamless hockey, worthy of the championship round.
It was great. It was end-to-end. That's the way I think hockey is supposed to be played.
Non-stop action here.
You're looking at the clock like, when's the next time out?
This is more like what we expected the series to be.
I'm tired, Malcolm.
Torrid pace in this third quarter. Trending action here in the third. A one-goal game. Virtually non-stop play. Here is Datsun. Tries to pull it to the forehand. Take rebound. Oh, what a save by Fleury.
Best save I've ever seen.
5.5 minutes since we've had a whistle.
Can you believe this pace, folks? It's unreal. Good action up and down the ice.
Shot, right in the net here.
For a shot by Samuelson, he scores! Michael Samuelson, and it's 3-2.
Detroit battled but couldn't snap Pittsburgh's home win streak that stretched to 17 games.
And the Penguins are back in this series. They are going to win Game 3 by a final score of 3-2.
It's
reality is somebody's got to win and lose every single game in the playoffs. That doesn't mean it's a bad game.
As a group, we know we have to show up and play for the 60 minutes and stick to our game plan. I think that's where the experience comes in a little bit, that we know we have to play better in Game 4.
Simple math, it's 2-2 or it's 3-1 Detroit as we present Game 4 from Mellon Arena.
Well, I think for Pittsburgh, they've got to watch Detroit coming out awfully fast out of the gates.
And Game 4 of this 2008 Stanley Cup Final is underway.
The Wings knew control of the series was on the line in Game 4.
Let's shoot Jets in the Ozone, boys!
Good catch for Detroit here, but a hit comes from Drake, and a penalty will result. He is chased down by him, gave it on down to Gonchar, and Gonchar slams one save, made by Elgin.
You don't want to have to play from behind for a long time, especially Pittsburgh's a tough place to play.
Shut him down! Shut him down!
They're feeling good about themselves, and yet, in saying that, pretty good belief system in our group. We always respond.
Hey, all the little things! Hey, don't sit back, push!
Lidstrom with a blast!
It was just no different than it's been all year for us, and Nick Lidstrom comes through for us, and we're right back in it.
Goals were not easy to come by, and the teams had to fight for every square inch of ice.
Now the hitting picks up.
Here, bluff me around. We gotta win some more battles here!
That game was a clawing and scratching game.
First time in this series, we will go to the third period with a tie score.
This is the most important period of the playoffs for Pittsburgh, right here. They absolutely have to win this game. If they can go down 3-1 and then have to face Detroit with an opportunity to win the Stanley Cup.
Just like in years past, and when they talk about playoffs, it's the guys that step up who you don't expect, and Hoods did that.
On their heels. How will the young Penguins respond to this adversity?
We're getting a penalty here. Crosby going down, and Lilly is penalized. For the first time in this series, there will be a 5-on-3.
Well, you got nothing to lose, basically. You know, you're up against very skilled players, and they are 2 more than you. Most likely they will score.
So this is it for the Pittsburgh Penguins. A huge opportunity here.
Go Borson, we got lots of time. Make sure you get it in, shoot the puck. We gotta have this one, let's have
That's Gonchar again. Gonchar a shot, that one blocked aside. Getting in the way of that was Zetterberg. Gonchar steps in, fakes the drive, gave it on. Hossa, and one for Crosby. Couldn't get it in. Check on it, Zetterberg, another shot. And it went wide.
Outstanding job by Henrik Zetterberg coming all the way back on Sidney Crosby. What a chance of a wide open net.
You know, Sidney's a very strong guy, and he buries a lot of those, and as he was able to bear down a stick and just stop him from putting it in the empty net. So not just a smart hockey player doing what he does best.
What a shift for him. Zetterberg turning, dragging, backhander off the glove of Fleury. A Conn Smythe shift.
That's what Hank does.
After killing off the 5-on-3 advantage, Zetterberg and the Wings were moments from taking a stranglehold on the series.
It is running out on Pittsburgh.
This is it right here. This is it right here.
It's a big win, you know, and 2-2 to 3-1 is obviously huge.
Detroit Red Wings going back to Detroit on Monday night, having a chance to win the Stanley Cup.
Joe Louis Arena, downtown Detroit, Michigan. 10-time Stanley Cup champion Detroit Red Wings play out of this arena. Could this be number 11?
And Thomas Holmstrom returns from the tender hamstring that kept him out of Game 4.
This will be the first captain, European-born and trained, to hoist the cup first and decide what to do with it next.
I think for Pittsburgh, if they can score the first goal of the game, it'll help them. Top of the circle, Holton with a shot, save made by Osgood. And then Boyce in the puck. Oh, and a good check there thrown by Dupuis. In front, Holton shot, he scores! Osa! And it's 1-0.
Sometimes when you're in such a hurry to do this, instead of focus on finishing your checks and taking care of the puck and playing solid in your own zone, and suddenly now we're not doing what we do.
Confusion on the line change leads to this chance for Holton. He shoots, save made by Osgood.
I thought we were a little bit tentative in that first period. I thought just everything around Game 5 being an elimination game, have a chance to close the series out and win the cup at home. I thought we felt a little bit of that pressure.
Here's Hall now, trying to walk out of the corner. Hall moves it on in front, score!
Good job, guys!
Yeah, baby! Cronwell shoots it off Hall's skate in the net. The Pittsburgh Penguins have the first 2 goals of game number 5. This crowd is stunned. The Red Wings in these playoffs have not overcome a 2-goal deficit to win a game. I think we're going to see a different Detroit team here in the second period.
But the period began with more of the same.
Stewart's pass intercepted. Talbot moves in, shoots. Oh, and he lifted it too high. They give it away again, and there's Stahl. Now, stop turning pucks over. Crosby was in. Oh, it's just wide. Oh, my God. Pittsburgh's getting all these chances to put Detroit in a real serious hole. They're not scoring, which keeps Detroit's hopes alive here early in this second period.
Here we go. We got that one shift here, eh?
Broke back along, and this is taken by Maltby, who stepped back in. Gave it to Hill for a shot. And this crowd is into it now. Detroit back to within a goal.
That one goal, we really got some confidence back and we started playing.
The Wings recaptured their swagger and the game's momentum.
Detroit has picked up their physical game. The Red Wings are just taking over.
Boys, a 3-minute push here. Come on. Zetterberg into the slot, he shoots, saved by Fleury.
That's it, boys, here we go. Pass over in front. Oh, that just dribbled past the post. Red Wings 2-on-1. From center right, Samuelson. Hands it off. Back to Samuelson. Oh, what a save by Fleury. Montgomery Fleury just made the save in the Stanley Cup final. And Sergei Gonchar was shaken up on the play. That will be a huge loss if he can't continue in this game.
Just moments later, Pittsburgh absorbed yet another blow.
Shot. Oh, and Malone got it right in the face. Oh. As you can see, how the heck did he ever get up? He's already broke his nose in this series. Can the Penguins hang on and extend this series?
There's Malone back. These guys are tough. So much on the line. Coming into the final 20 minutes of regulation play.
Bronson is shot. Save by Fleury. Goes up the right side. Drives the shot. He hit the goal post. Oh, my God. Back to Samuelson for screen shot. Save by Fleury. Is this great action? Back and forth.
We got to get the goal.
Back to Zetterberg, the high slot. Moves his way outside rim of the right circle. Stahl in pursuit. Zetterberg fires it in front. The wing scores! Johnson got the rebound with the redirection and fired it in. And the crowd erupts. How about that? Soup ties it. 2-2 on his power play goal.
Now it's Detroit's time to take over.
And the points are open, boys. Taken away and kept in deep. Bronson feed to Rafalski. Shoots. He scores! Brian Rafalski, stepping up from the right point, has given Detroit a 3-2 lead. Lot of time, boys. Be patient. No panic here.
Despite Jarkko Ruutu's words, Champagne was on ice, and Detroit was close to lifting yet another Stanley Cup.
Shot stop. Big rebound coming in front of the net. And down is Fleury to keep it out.
Get the tempo high.
Shots are 10-0 Detroit in the period. Here they come again. Hunter winds up, drives the shot, saves, big rebound given up. Pittsburgh's desperate, but they're hardly getting a chance. Here comes the most beautiful trophy in professional sports.
all Joe Louis chanting, you know, we want the cup, you know, from, you know, a minute down, and then all of a sudden.
Extra man on for Pittsburgh with a net empty.
Malka's got it, centered it for Hossa. Intercepted by Franza, but not out. Crosby to the near corner. Hossa, shooter, save by rebound. Talbot. He shoots and scores. Max Talbot. The Penguins have tied it at 3. We got a brand new hockey game.
You know what's at stake. You're right there. You can taste it, and to get that taken away from you.
You're all sitting there, and I guarantee everyone was thinking the same thing. Is this as close as I'll ever get to the Stanley Cup?
That is unreal. That is unreal.
Rather than hang their heads, the Red Wings continued to storm the net in overtime. But a masked man in white would not relent.
Bobrovsky between the circle, the Kings here save. Rebound! And Fleury able to stop that one off the stick of Filppula.
In front, Holmstrom save! Fleury! The cup was on his stick. Shots are 40-19 in the game.
We had so many good chances. He was unbelievable.
As the first overtime bled into a second and then a third, the Detroit veterans seemed to have the younger, fresher legs, but could not solve Fleury.
Skate! Butler bringing it on. Crosses and shoots one. Save! Rebound! Oh! Saved by Fleury!
Some of us got that feeling like, you know what, it's one of those games where it doesn't matter what kind of opportunity he had, he was going to stop it.
You're sitting on the bench, you see the opportunities, like you're jumping out, like thinking this could be it. No, you know, Fleury makes a save.
Physical fatigue, and also at this stage of the night, mental fatigue.
Next goal wins. If it's Detroit, it's over. Except for the party.
Detroit's got some jump in their game, and Pittsburgh, it looks like they're just trying to hold on right now.
One Penguin was confident he could be a difference maker.
Usually you don't have people tell you they're going to score in overtime, they just go out and do it. Peter Sikora just tapped the glass, pointed at his chest and said, I'm going to score.
Gill rolls it back to Skinner, lost the puck momentarily, and then he took it in a burn stick. Penalty coming, yes. I believe it's Hudler on the play. 4-minute penalty. Gonchar's on the power play.
Fed back by Sikora to Gonchar.
One in front.
Gonchar. Sikora fires one, and that ricocheted off the referee.
Comes back in behind the goal. Malkin over to Sikora. Wrist shot. Score! The Penguins have won it!
Sikora said he would get the winner, and he did. It's going back to Pittsburgh for a 6th game.
That is unbelievable. He called a shot.
I felt it. I just felt it.
That feeling, you know, after Game 5 was just terrible. Everyone really thought that we were going to win, and you know, I just have a great celebration here at home, and now we have to go back to Pittsburgh.
I thought we had a good meeting in Pittsburgh when we got there the night before the game, and we talked about what we had to do.
We wanted to get prepared mentally, clear your mind, and worry about playing hockey. We're the better team. Do what we do, we'll be fine.
All those guys that's been around for so many years and won the cup before, Chris Chelios, Draper, Maltby, Nick Lidstrom, those were the guys that stood up and basically told everyone we're going to do this.
We have another opportunity to win the Stanley Cup tonight. Game 6, another opportunity for us to win. Let's throw everything out there and let's make tonight the night.
Inside Mellon Arena for Game 6 of the 2008 Stanley Cup Final. The Red Wings can clinch for the win tonight as they lead the series 3-2.
Showing hard, boys!
What a start to this game. Both teams coming out hitting.
Game 5, we didn't have a great start. We really wanted to make sure that that didn't happen again.
When Detroit played well in the third period of game number 5, they were dumping the puck in and getting the forecheck going. That's what they're trying here early.
I thought we started real well, but we turned the puck over, went right in the slot, and Ozzy made a huge save. That, I thought, gave us confidence, and then we were able to get started.
That's pitches, hands it off for Zetterberg. Zetterberg drops it back down. Rafalski with a chance. He shoots, he scores!
The Red Wings have struck first.
Obviously, scoring first was huge. We're a much better team, as most teams are when they get the first goal.
We felt that we were taking it to them early on, and getting a goal, I think, gave the whole team a boost.
1-0 Red Wings trying to make it 2.
Against a team like Pittsburgh that has so many good players, you don't want to sit back.
Bronson a drive, save, rebound, and that's off the back of the flurry and then sent to the corner by Bronson.
We kept saying on the bench, keep going on the attack, keep doing the things that we do to be successful.
Behind you!
That's another play at the Detroit blue line. They're standing up and they're slowing Pittsburgh down at the blue line. Detroit's had a good start to this game. They have played well here in the first period. Second period underway. Red Wings hanging on to that 1-goal lead.
Make a play! Make a play!
Samuelson brings it on. Shoots one that's blocked by Fleury. Rebound, score! And it's 2-0 Detroit.
9:20 left in the second period of Game 6.
Through most of the second period, Detroit got under the skin of the Penguins and aggravated their anxious fans.
Pittsburgh can't even get the puck out of their zone. The Red Wings seem to be everywhere. You can see the frustration, too, the way Crosby's playing. Detroit has more energy right now than Pittsburgh does. Pittsburgh looks like a tired team.
But a penalty on Datsyuk late in the period woke up the home team.
Over 17,000 standing and cheering this Pittsburgh team on. They need a goal badly. 2-0 Detroit.
Crosby, left side to Malkin. Slap shots. Score! It's Malkin with a goal! The Penguins make it 2-1!
Pavel got a penalty, and they score in the power play. Now they've got back in the game going into the dressing room.
We just went in, regrouped. We have 20 minutes to play, the best period that we've played all year.
We are underway here in the third. The Red Wings once again on the verge of capturing their 11th Stanley Cup.
We were in the best situation we could ask for. You'd ask for the game if we wanted a 1-goal lead in the third period on the road. There was not one guy that wouldn't have taken that.
We're 20 minutes away, and the one thing we said is, let's get that next one.
Zetterberg is coming in.
I shot a puck and I didn't see it, and I didn't hear any whistle either, so I kind of hoped the puck was behind him.
From the bench, you can't see the puck. You're looking at the referees to see if they're going to blow the whistle.
When he went back, it just hit his pants in the right way. It shot it ahead.
But the referee just came around the net and pointing it was a goal.
Penguins a little stunned right now. Nearing the halfway point of the third period, the deficit yet again is 2.
Detroit can smell something. That's the way they're playing.
We wanted to do what we were doing. We want to get above their guys in the middle of the ice.
14 minutes play to this third period. 1 shot for Pittsburgh.
Take their skilled guys away, and we were doing that.
The Penguins with still 1 shot on goal in now 16 minutes of play in this period.
What we did a really good job of was killing the clock in the corners.
We've got just over 2.5 left in this one.
Some shifts where we had the puck for 45 seconds just in our feet.
This is composure here too, boys.
Clock the enemy of the Penguins now.
Nobody was going to score, but we were just killing time.
But time stood still. Detroit was called for a penalty that once again threatened their celebration.
6 skaters against 4. One of the Red Wings really lost his stick. Gonchar trying to get it to the net. Score!
When they made it 3-2, I was sick to my stomach, and I thought this can't happen again.
Moving in is Gonchar, 20 to go.
We were on the bench just kind of thinking this is it. It's ticking down. Guys are looking at the clock.
Centering pass intercepted by Datsyuk. He makes a move.
I didn't watch the last couple minutes. I was staring at my feet the whole time. I looked up with 7 seconds left, and the puck was at center ice. I'm like, oh, it's over.
6 seconds left.
And then they just come back, and Crosby and Hossa, I think, was 2-on-1. Crosby got a pretty good backhander from that position. And then I see Hossa going for the rebound.
So he's trying to chip it over Aussie, and I think he went just right through the crease.
I looked up and saw 3 zeros on the game clock. I just looked at Aussie, and Aussie looked at me, and I was like, yeah, it's over. We're done.
And the Detroit Red Wings are the 2008 Stanley Cup champions.
The emotions that are going through your body, everything starts to come out all at once. You're emotional, you're fighting back tears, you're happy, you're jumping on guys are jumping on you. You don't know what to say other than scream as loud as you can.
We did it, Buffalo! We did it!
The first European-born captain to be handed the Stanley Cup.
Dallas Drake, 16 years in the National Hockey League. He's been waiting his whole life to do this.
I'll always remember Dallas Drake. He's got passion, he's a heck of a man. And for him to lift that cup over his head with his family there was something, the memory I'll treasure forever.
It's been a great season. It's been a lot of fun. It's an unbelievable feeling to be able to win with such great guys around you.
The one thing I've always said, I've been so fortunate to play with great hockey players throughout my career. Once again, here I am sitting talking about winning another Stanley Cup with great hockey players as teammates.
We have a special, special group, and a group that I'm thrilled to be the coach of. Thrilled to share it with these guys, and obviously the state of Michigan and the city of Detroit.
Cheers, everybody. Congratulations, Detroit.
This Stanley Cup brings us hope and excitement. It brings everybody together for the first time again, no matter what we're going through.
Okay, you want it.
It's very exciting for all of us.
I don't think this could have came at a better time, the Wings winning the cup.
Big picture, guys.
How does it taste?
The greatest gift a sports team could ever do for a city.
When I walked in this dressing room at the beginning of March, I felt it. I felt it in the air like it was in past championships. From the camaraderie to the work ethic. It's not about individual accolades. It's about team success. That's what it's all about, because now we all get to share this together, and there's no better feeling.
I don't understand it right now, but I'm just gonna enjoy it. That's my new sign. Hey, me and Mitch are in one.
The reason we play is because of you guys.
Detroit City, baby! Yeah!
And everybody out there, get your hands up. We're gonna celebrate.
I can hear you. Come on! Come Let's go Red Wings! Let's go Red Wings!
Is it any good we've got the Stanley Cup back at home where it belongs?
Everybody needs something positive, something to hold on to, and when your sports teams are doing well, that's huge.
I love you,
Detroit.
Thank you.
We as a team would like to thank you, the fans, for your support and what you're doing for us. You're a hard-working city and a hard-working state, and that's the way we try to be as a team as well.